Cars 3 was initially supposed to be completely different from what we saw in the final version. For today's video, I went through all the deleted scenes from Cars 3 and picked out only the most important and interesting ones to share with you. So without further ado, let's get started. Two key elements in the deleted scenes could have changed our perception of the movie and ultimately shaped the story. First, Cruz Ramirez was supposed to be an entirely distinct character. Second, the movie's ending was wholly rewritten. Now let's talk about McQueen's relationship with Cruz in this initial version. In a scene called Boogie Woogie, we see how the beach scene was supposed to play out. If you remember, Cruz couldn't drive on the beach in the movie's final version. She didn't know how and kept getting stuck in the sand. But in the initial version, she was supposed to be a good racer. In this scene, she's supposed to race McQueen immediately and make some bizarre moves before the race, which are called Boogie Woogie. Cruz was shown speeding ahead of McQueen by a huge margin in every race. McQueen looked super weak, and remember, this was just the beginning of the movie. However, it was already clear that McQueen couldn't keep up. There was even a moment where Cruz intentionally let McQueen win, because without it, he wouldn't have been able to do anything. This scene would have immediately made it clear to the audience that McQueen had aged and couldn't bounce back. Maybe that's why they cut it. Also in this version, Sterling had been secretly watching McQueen and Cruz the whole time, which led to a very different ending, but we'll get into that later. Now, in a deleted scene called Jars of Dirt, we learn that Cruz had a mentor, her grandfather. He was a big racing fan. So the creators wanted to draw a parallel between her and her grandfather and McQueen and Doc Hudson.
Doc? How come you have these?
Because of him, mi abuelo.
Also, in this version, Cruz's grandfather collected dirt from all the legendary racetracks. As you remember, in the final cut, it was Sterling who did that.
He used to tell me about all these great racetracks he visited. Always took some dirt or sand as a memento.
The next scene, The Bolt, was meant to show how much of a McQueen fan Cruz was and how she dreamed of becoming a race car. Like many others, this scene was cut because there was too much focus on Cruz. In this deleted scene, she brought the Thomasville dirt to where it came from.
Here you go, abuelo. Dirt from the home stretch of Thomasville Speedway. Honor the journey by honoring those who've taken it.
Then she draws McQueen's lightning bolt, showing how big of a fan she is.
The great Lightning McQueen! Finally getting her chance to race on the Piston Cup circuit.
The original version initially focused heavily on Cruz rather than McQueen. In the final cut, however, they shifted the focus more toward McQueen, which was definitely a big plus. Now, the movie's final scene was supposed to change everything completely. In the original version, McQueen, not Cruz, was supposed to win the final race against Storm. It is why fans prefer this ending over what we actually saw in the movie. So this one is the longest of all the deleted scenes. Of course, a lot was going on here. Let's start with the fact that in this version, Sterling comes to McQueen and tells him he's pulling him out of the races.
Wait, what? What'd you say?
I'm not letting you race.
What do you... We had a deal.
As it turns out, Sterling had been watching McQueen and Cruz's performances during the whole movie, and he decided to put her in because he knew her stats were much better than McQueen's. If you remember, in the original version, it was McQueen who believed in Cruz, not Sterling.
I was tracking your speed, your agility on the beach, on the road, during the demolition derby, and then we noticed how your numbers compared with Cruz.
After that, they rip off McQueen's stickers in a dramatic moment. It looks very emotional.
I can race her. I'd be a fool not to. Hey, what are you doing? Stop! Hey, no! You can't do that!
I'm
Wait.
sorry.
After that, McQueen drives out of the garage and sees his friends welcoming him and celebrating. Then they announce that McQueen has been pulled from the race, and everyone in the stadium is shocked.
We don't have all the information yet, but we do know that Lightning McQueen will not be racing today.
After that, he sees Cruz with his stickers. She apologizes to him, but McQueen asks her to stay and race.
I had no idea he was gonna do this. He put the number on me, and it's yours, and there's no way I'm gonna go out there.
Cruz, you have to race.
Then one of the most emotional moments of the entire trilogy happens. The whole stadium starts chanting McQueen's name, and honestly, I get goosebumps from this. After that, one of the most incredible twists happens. Tex Dinoco drives up to McQueen and offers him to race under his brand. It's incredibly cool.
Lightning McQueen! Danico's been waiting 10 years for you not to have a sponsor.
Can you imagine? This is something unbelievable. And after that, we see McQueen in blue with the number 51. Don't you also feel intense emotions watching this scene? The creators said they removed it because in this version, McQueen was essentially put in a position where he had no choice. He wasn't the one deciding to race or not. Also, this scene took away some of McQueen's mentoring relationship with Cruz. In this version, it was Sterling who saw the potential in Cruz, not McQueen. So the creators wanted to give McQueen more choices so that he could be a proper mentor. That's why in the final version, McQueen himself tells Cruz to race in his place. This way, McQueen acknowledges that he is getting old and needs to let the young ones shine. I completely understand why many people like this scene more than the final cut. It's incredibly emotional and remarkable. However, in some aspects, it is weaker than the final version. Now let's move on to the crucial scene with Storm and McQueen racing. As far as I know, this scene is not fully available online. There are only very short clips of this scene, but William A. decided to remake this scene, and that's why we have it. Essentially, McQueen was supposed to race alongside Storm and Cruz and ultimately win this race.
Jackson, storm's over.
Actually, as far as I could figure out, there were also a few alternative ending scenes where McQueen won, but in a slightly different way. For example, just like Cruz in the final cut, McQueen was supposed to do a flip. Now, as the creators themselves said, this scene looked really cool, but it didn't serve certain functions. It didn't really tie in with the movie's beginning and felt like many other films where the main character always wins without a real reason. Don't get me wrong, I really like this ending, but I understand that it has some issues. But what do you think about this ending? By the way, another deleted scene explains something in this ending. It was supposed to happen in the middle of the movie and was called Lugnuts. It occurs after McQueen and Cruz battle other cars at Thunder Hollow. In this scene, Cruz said that no one had given her a chance to prove herself in the race.
But nobody believed in me enough to give me a shot.
It fits perfectly with the alternative ending. In the deleted scene, Sterling gave her a chance as she wanted, but in the final cut, everything was different. In this one, Cruz says she didn't believe in herself. That's why in the final version, McQueen made her believe in herself, which added depth to their relationship. Overall, I think both endings have their pros and cons. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. See ya in the next one.